I love
Of
what
course.
I love what you've done with the character of Simone, and so what I love, well, I can't say I love, but what I love that is represented within the character is how the story of Simone is very similar to what has gone on to people of color in that industry, especially with the vocals being stolen. So, can you take me back into that mindset of the moment that they realized they stole her voice and her ability not to fold, not to run away, but to stand up for herself?
Because you use the term stand up for herself, and one might think that doing so is, creating the storm that Daisy wants to create,
Mhm.
demanding, her rights to be taken back and, going to the studio and speaking up. But really, he doesn't, she doesn't have that privilege to create the storm. And so much of navigating strategically the industry to get to where she wants is sometimes, unfortunately, silencing a few things. And the best she can do is being able to maybe not explain that with words, but with her vulnerability to Daisy. Explain through how broken she is that she doesn't have the privilege to do that.
Right. Do you feel that she is fully supported by Daisy, or could this be kind of a one sided relationship?
That's interesting. I do think Daisy is quite oblivious. Riley and I, even if it might have not gotten to the screen, we definitely talked a lot about how, these two women, they didn't have the vocabulary, they didn't have, they didn't know the terms we're using today as, people navigating social political issues.
Mm-hmm.
And what struck me, what got to me initially was, it's very apparent that Daisy finds somewhat of a mother figure in Simone initially, but I find that Simone is also just as lonely. She just is just so versed in navigating life on her own that part of that necessity is having to put on the smile and having to pretend that everything's okay. And so much of the stories behind Black Creole women of the time are just not told, and a lot of it goes, there's a lot of space for what hasn't been said or expressed about their intimacy.
Kind of touching upon the loneliness aspect of Simone, what do you think, aside from the music career, that she wants the most?
Oh, I think she wants to be happy. I don't know that she's aware that she's able to be happy without, the mainstream success that she craves. But later on, we get to see that other kind of consciousness anchor in her that, it's possible. It's possible to find happiness through authenticity without compromising who she is.
When she is told that she is a muse, we know that, from the standpoint of they're not taking her seriously, but in that moment, what does that word mean to her? Is she actually a muse in terms of inspiration, or is she a muse in terms of exploitation?
Oh, I don't know if Simone is called a muse, but it's interesting because so the kind of psyche and psychology behind being a Black woman of the time, and that's still changing. We're kind of told that it is, and that's women as well as all kinds of women are kind of told that, in order to get by successfully, we have to take on the role of being a muse, of being somewhat attractive in whatever sense that comes. And I think we're going to see Simone slowly deconstruct what that means to her later on.
What would you say her sound is?
I would say it's new. I would say it might be foreign initially, and I don't think she fully embraces how new and foreign it is.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why she, one, feels misunderstood within herself, and also, you know, we first see her in LA in 1970s, and it was predominantly a very white and, you know, folk music environment. So I think when she finally leaves and goes to New York, she starts to understand that there is a place for whatever was labeled as foreign or too different.
Right. And so I was wondering also, in terms of Simone's sexuality, you know, there's a part of her that she feels that she is hiding because of the times. Do you feel that that translates to her music? If she was to ever find that freedom and acceptance, it transforms the songs that she does, the sounds that she creates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think music is so often, when we allow it to be, such a pure reflection of our soul, our truth. You know, some of the best songs are songs that came out without the artist trying too hard to control how it's put together. You know, a lot of times it's a lot of labor, but I find as a singer-songwriter myself that the most pleasurable part of being an artist is when you are able to see the reflection of who you are in front of you, or through your words, through the work, in such a pristine way, and that's extremely pleasurable to the soul.
What is it, when you was reading a script and breaking down this character, what will you say was the elements that really spoke to you the most as an actress, that was essential that you bring out into the screen?
She has very, very strong values. I had to really dig into, you know, I would say that maybe I struggled with how much she had to silence, because as so-called liberated Black woman nowadays, you know, there's so much that I want to speak up and want to express. But I would say that it really kind of humbled me and brought me back to my feet. That in order to tell a truthful story, I had to give back the dignity of so many women, Black queer women of that time, by accepting that they couldn't do a lot of what I wanted to do for them. So it was a challenge, you know, but it was also a place of extreme respect to tell a story truthfully. And you know, the story has kind of a few missing spots, you know.
Do you feel that Simone's initial betrayal made her not just stronger, but allowed her to maybe tackle the industry in a better way than she would have originally if she said she made it with that first record or first song?
I think it's gradual. You know, it's very easy to fall into the kind of like warrior woman, strong Black woman archetype. But the truth is that we're extremely wounded, and when we do take a leap of faith, it's still from a place of extreme vulnerability, you know. And later on in the episodes, you get to see her move through this vulnerability, and even vocally, you know, maybe there's a difference between where she was in episode 2, you know, vocally, to where she starts kind of getting more comfortable singing again and singing to the people that she's singing to. But it helps, yes, it helps, because, you know, sometimes we need a little bit of a shock to the system to kind of deconstruct a few illusions and find our ground again. But I wouldn't say it's an immediate thing.
Does she carry any sort of resentment towards Daisy and her success? Or is she supportive no matter what? Because that's not her journey.
I think that's for the audience to decide, especially later on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me. I loved your portrayal. I loved the show.
Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure.